The vehicles in Subnautica are great. The prawn suit, Seamoth and Cyclops all offer different modes of travel. However, I think you'll agree when I say that we could have had more vehicles. This would make Subnautica even more fun. Well, fear not. Today I'm going to be ranking 7 modded vehicles using the following criteria: usefulness, balance, design, and fun. So let's dive into it. The first vehicle we come across today is the Atrama. This vehicle has a very cool design. It looks like it was taken straight out of space. It comes with a power and light toggle, as well as an autopilot feature which is coming soon. The Atrama comes with a fabricator, and you can also access its upgrades and power cells from the inside, which is a huge help. The Atrama has a beautiful view at the front. It drives quite fast with a top speed of 15 meters per second. The arms are currently under development, and they will eventually make it possible to upgrade this vehicle. The max crush depth you can get is 1800 meters, which is more than enough. Overall, it drives smoothly and has a unique design. Usefulness gets a 4 out of 10. It can dive deep and it does have a fabricator, but it's still under construction and does not have any unique upgrades. Balance gets a 6 out of 10. It isn't overpowered, but it is quite expensive to make, to say that it has no special ability. Design gets a 6 out of 10. It could have had a little more detail, but the idea and model looks great. It may be hard to have it match the vibe of Subnautica's vehicles though. Lastly, fun gets an 8 out of 10. It's speedy and it makes you feel like you are driving a spaceship. Lots of fun to be had here. In conclusion, the Atrama scores 24 out of 40, putting it into the worth using category. Next up is the Abyss. This vehicle has a great level of detail. It looks very realistic, like it's a vehicle you would see on Earth. However, because of this, it's difficult for it to match the Subnautica vibe, and it feels a bit out of place. You can enter through both the bottom and the top, which is very helpful. It has the same toggles as the previous vehicle. A special feature of this vehicle are the valves you have to adjust in order to change the vehicle's power, which is really fun. It comes with plenty of storage and a fabricator. The vehicle can also be powered using a bioreactor, which can be incredibly helpful. There are no upgrades apart from the max crush depth, which is 1500 meters. The top speed is 10 meters per second. Lastly, your view is obstructed when driving, but switching cameras solves that problem. Usefulness gets an 8 out of 10. It has plenty of storage, is durable, and can be powered by a bioreactor. Balance gets a 7 out of 10. This vehicle isn't overpowered, it's just a little bit expensive to say it has no upgrades. Design gets a 6 out of 10. I love the design and it's very detailed, however it just doesn't match the Subnautica vibe fully. Lastly, fun gets an 8 out of 10. It's very fun to control the valves, making you feel like a real pilot. In conclusion, the Abyss scores 29 out of 40, putting it into the worth using category. Now let's cover the Odyssey. This vehicle allows you to customize the name and colour. It has great storage with 4 large interior lockers. It has strong floodlights and a top speed of 12.5 meters per second, which is quite good for its size. You can access the 4 power cells through the interior as well as one on the outside. There are no special upgrades other than the crush depth, with the max being 1500 meters. It's fun to drive and has a range of cameras to choose from. Usefulness gets a 7 out of 10. It has lots of storage, but other than that, it has no upgrades or features. Balance gets an 8 out of 10. It's not overpowered and has great value for cost, only missing out on some points due to the lack of special upgrades. Design gets a 9 out of 10. It's a great Altera-esque vehicle, which fits into the world of Subnautica. Some parts of the exterior feel a little over-detailed in my opinion, but overall, it nearly looks like a vanilla vehicle. Lastly, fun gets a 5 out of 10. It is fun to drive, however, there is nothing new or special compared to the other vehicles covered so far. In conclusion, the Odyssey scores 29 out of 40, putting it into the worth having tier. The next vehicle is an absolute beast. Let me introduce you to the Echelon. It is small, sleek, and has a triangular shape. Think of this vehicle like it's a Seamoth redesigned for war. When piloting the Echelon, you are in third person, which is incredibly unique. It goes very fast, however, I don't know its exact top speed. It has 5 unique upgrades: the self-repair module, which allows it to repair itself, a battery upgrade, a railgun with aim assist, a drive upgrade which allows you to go 250% faster, and lastly, a torpedo deployment upgrade. You are pretty much invincible in this vehicle. It one-shots most creatures and 2-shots Reaper Leviathans with ease. Usefulness gets a clear 10 out of 10. This is an incredibly fast Leviathan killer. What more could you want? Balance gets a low 2 out of 10. I don't think I have to tell you that this vehicle is incredibly overpowered. However, most upgrades are fairly priced. Design gets a 10 out of 10. It's a very sleek design that matches other Alterra vehicles perfectly. Lastly, fun gets a 10 out of 10. This is the most fun you will ever have driving a vehicle. The power you have is just insane. In conclusion, the Echelon scores 32 out of 40, putting it into the well-deserved game-changing category. Now let's get more sophisticated with the Blossom. This vehicle has a unique mesmer-like design with wings which can be activated. These wings will attract smaller critters to the vehicle, and once they get close enough, it will collect them and put them in the vehicle's aquarium. The max depth you can have is 1700 meters. There are a few interesting upgrades. There is the Mesmerizer power upgrade, with the max being able to even attract Leviathans. You can't collect them unfortunately, and as soon as you deactivate the wings they will become aggressive again. There is the Mesmerizer range upgrade, which increases the distance you can have to attract a creature. There is the Enzyme Distributor upgrade, which requires a Hero Peeper. This is for curing creatures you catch. Lastly, there is a very useful Scanner upgrade, which allows you to scan creatures from the safety of your vehicle. This upgrade gives you an actual reason to attract Leviathans. The Blossom has decent speed, however I'm unsure of its actual specifications. Usefulness gets a 10 out of 10. It helps to catch creatures and scan Leviathans with ease. Balance gets a 9 out of 10. It's a very well balanced vehicle, as it requires you to hatch a mesmer to be able to craft this vehicle. Design gets a 10 out of 10. It has a nice simple design and it looks like an Alterra vehicle. The wings are absolutely beautiful and do a good job of imitating a mesmer. Lastly, fun gets a 10 out of 10. I found it incredibly satisfying collecting fish, and it was really fun to mesmerize the Leviathans. In conclusion, the Blossom scores 39 out of 40, putting it into the game-changing tier. It's an amazing vehicle that you need to try. Next up is the Cricket. This is a small but speedy vehicle with a top speed of 12 meters per second. It has a max depth of 1100. You can also mount a container, allowing for more storage. It has a rapid movement, and its small shape allows you to fit into small caves easily. It has 2 power cells, with 1 on each thruster. Lastly, it has an annoying FOV, but I guess it makes it more realistic. Usefulness gets a 4 out of 10. You may as well get a Seamoth, but I guess it helps with smaller caves. Balance gets a 6 out of 10. It's fast and carries storage, but it costs much more to build this than the Seamoth, with it offering no special upgrades, making it feel a little overpriced. Design gets a 6 out of 10. It reminds me of the Abyss and has a nice design, but yet again doesn't really fit into the Subnautica style. Lastly, fun gets a 7 out of 10. With how small and speedy it is, it's fun to drive. I wish it had some fun upgrades though. In conclusion, the Cricket scores 23 out of 40, just putting it into the worth having tier. The last vehicle we are covering today is the mighty Beluga. This huge vehicle is inspired by the Atlas. It's so big that it can hold both the prawn suit and the Seamoth at the same time, and it also automatically ejects them if explosion is about to happen. It has a whopping top speed of 18 meters per second. It takes 16 power cells and has an optional nuclear reactor. The Beluga contains more than enough space to build and store things. It has a holographic map of the surrounding area, as well as a panel with customizable colours and name. It comes with a max crush depth of 2000 meters, which is more than enough. It has 3 speed modes just like the Cyclops, but also contains an agility mode, which is fun to use and makes it much easier to traverse through difficult biomes like the Blood Kelp Zone and Lost River. There are 3 upgrades in total, the first being the Ion Reactor module. This increases the max speed. There is the Thermal Refabrication module, which repairs the submarine once temperature is high enough. Lastly, there is the Docked Vehicle Repair module, which, just like the Cyclops, it repairs your docked vehicles. Usefulness gets a 10 out of 10. It's a bigger and better Cyclops. The agility mode is super helpful to traverse through difficult biomes. Balance gets an 8 out of 10. It is incredibly expensive to make, however, for its size I think it's pretty fair. Design gets a 9 out of 10. This is another Altera-esque vehicle that fits right in. Lastly, fun gets an 8 out of 10. I had lots of fun using the agility mode. Other than that, it's like piloting the Cyclops. In conclusion, the Beluga scores 35 out of 40, putting it into the game-changing tier. And with that, we have ranked 7 great modded vehicles to have in your world. It's nice to see that none of them got the lower tiers. Thank you for joining me on this adventure. If you enjoy this kind of Subnautica content, then make sure to subscribe and join the Sub-Zero community. Let me know in the comments what you would change about this tier list. Thank you once again for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.